Check my sound. Salakia. Oh, nobody's watching right now. Just checking to make sure. Shalom. Shalom. All right, con. So I do got sound. All right, con. So I do got sound. All right, con. Shalom. This is Ariel Ben Yashrala, the analyzed in camp. First and foremost, only while praise, honor, glory to the Father and to the Son, in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. Call Halayim La, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amath. A double honor to the elder and apostle, Great Millstone, or Rule Well and Teach Well. A double honor to my elder apostle as well, the analyzed in camp, Aharwan Ben Yashrala, and the sincere the waters of the Akim, the Aquathim and the Bunyim, the brothers, the sisters, and the children who are pushing the truth with sincerity. The Wad and Shalom. If you see me looking at two different points, I'm recording this off of my laptop camera on YouTube Live, and then I'm recording it off of my other phone, which is like right behind my laptop camera, and I'm recording that one so I can put it on my other channels. Cause I got this one I can go live on, but my other two channels I can't go live on. So I'm just gonna upload this live onto those channels. I've had that problem in the past, so trying to negate it. But as you see the title, hold on, so like y'all wanted to see what my title looks like to y'all. We have the power, con. So the title is "We Have the Power." I just got done watching He-Man, and spoiler alert: at the end of the movie, the sword breaks, and Skeletor stabs He-Man with the sword, and the sorceress who helped I think she helped forge the sword, or she helped protect the sword, or something like that. He was like, I can't get up. She was like, bro, you have the power. He was like, the sword's broken. She was like, well, what do you say when you hold the sword to gain the power? And he was like, by the power of Red Skull, I have the power. She's like, yeah, bro, you have the power. That's, she was saying that he himself, his body is the vessel for the power that the sword brings out. And so I was think about Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the spirit and understanding. That power is within us right now. So we have the power. It hasn't fully manifested in the physical realm. In the physical realm, as terms of works, but it is. I mean, by works, I mean like healing somebody and you like touching them and they immediately like the miracles that Yahweh Shah did. But we do have the power to heal somebody spiritually. We do have the knowledge and wisdom, and that's power within itself. Wisdom is more. Matter of fact, let me get that first, because that's wisdom is more moving. Wisdom of Solomon 7:24. Let me. I'm I'm not too versed with sharing the screen on YouTube, and you right there, you probably can't see it. But Wisdom of Solomon 7:24. I'm just gonna read it from my phone. 7:24. Okay, and my Bible app's not working. That's cool. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon. Salakia. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 24. It says, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Right. So with the pureness and with the pureness and the reasoning of all things, the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh can flow. It's like it is more moving than any motion. All right, it's more moving than any motion. So no matter, and it's funny, people talk about motion nowadays. People got motion. We better have the motion of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in these times right now and the times to come, because times are going to get a lot more serious. All right, and individuals are going to need, mere mortals, we're going to need power to sustain ourselves from the onslaught of the wicked, coming down with great wrath. Enemy rushing in like a flood. We're going to need power in those times. And that true and living, righteous and strong power is the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. As a matter of fact, let me get that, what's the name? Brother Arakah, he brings it out a lot. Shall be the stability of thy times. Con, Isaiah 33 and 6. Okay, Bible app. It's been wonky this whole time. 33 and 6. It's lucky. Isaiah. Wow, bro, where is that? Okay, 33 and 6. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." The fear of the Lord should be our treasure. All right. The fear of the Lord should be what we put up, not boasting, but, present forth, because ultimately that fear is the beginning of knowledge and understanding. It's like, let me get that real quick. Knowledge and wisdom. Fear of Yahweh is the knowledge, beginning of wisdom. Fear, the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9 and 10. Proverbs 9 and 10. Proverbs 9 and 10. So I'm looking them up as I'm 9 and 10. Proverbs 9 and 10. As I'm saying them. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Right. So with those things, we're gonna have stability in the times to come. Right. We have stability now. All right, and we'll have stability in times to come. And right now, just like old boy from the movie He-Man, his name is Adam. Funny, I just thought about that. His name is Adam. He was on the planet Eternia, where he was from, and then he got separated. He was put on Earth, but he remembered everything. He was like, oh yeah, my name is Adam. I'm from Eternia. I followed you. Like, he remembered everything. He was looking for the sword of power the whole time he was on Earth, pretty much his whole life, even while he was a kid, grew into his adult age. But here are people, they've forgotten where they come from. They've forgotten the source of they've forgotten they have power. All right. So like I said, they've forgotten the Lord, so they don't have a true connection to true power. All right. Same way, Skeletor, he had power, but it was wicked power. All right, just because it's power doesn't mean it's good. All right, and then Adam, He-Man, he had good power. All right, that power. Well, he didn't have the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but in this world, we have the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We're fighting against Esau, who is Skeletor. All right, because in the movie, after pretty much not resurrected, but regenerated. Well, hold on, I say he healed after he realized he has the power within him. What's her name? He had the sword, and he was like, "Yo, bro, how about we just stop doing this? Let's just try to be friends. Work together. He stopped all this fiendishness." And Skeletor was like, he started laughing. He was like, "Bro, I'm a villain, and I like being a villain." And then he started fighting He-Man, and that's who Esau is. You can't be reasonable with Esau. He has to be put out of the way, and that's what the Lord's gonna do. The Lord's gonna put him out of his misery. He's a villain, and villains are filled with existential dread. All right, they're filled with a perpetual hatred. All all right, a perpetual void within themselves that they can never fill. All right. So going back to Proverbs 9 and 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding, right? So just the beginning of the fear of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. That's why we should always, put it forth and make sure we always remember Yahweh Shem Yahshua, in the goings of our daily life. I'm gonna go back to Isaiah 33. Who on me is rubber band? As Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? So we should treasure the fear of the Lord that we have, because a lot of people don't truly fear the Lord. Or they think the Lord is all love, not truly understanding the wrath that he still holds, as if, the scriptures also say that I am the Lord, I change not. All right, so he still has that righteous indignation towards wickedness, and all these people down here proclaiming to know the Lord, proclaiming they're working for the Lord, but really they're just doing deeds of wickedness. Oh boy, I think in Georgia, they call it Pam, Philip Anthony Mitchell, from the it's like 1826 church or some shit like that. But I can be doing lessons on how you doing the street ministry. And when he said that, I was like, the Christians just trying to be like Israelites, that's no biggie. But they call it street ministries, and they're gonna be in the building. They're not gonna be on the street, charging what I think it was I'll say allegedly, just so I don't get my stuff whatever. But what's the name? 60 for a regular ticket. First of all, charging four and under is free. 4 and up, you got charged for a seat. So if your kid 5 years old, if your kid's 6 years old, you gotta pay for a seat for them. They gotta have their own seat. You gotta put $60 down for that child, and then for VIP it's $200. And you think that the 60 will be for the regular 100, maybe for the VIP, but they got goddamn $200 for the VIP tickets. Let me go ahead and get that while I'm on that subject. Hold on a second, cause that's that Skeletor power that he got. All right, but a lot of the Akim say it a lot. He's always wearing black. The whole ensemble, every time it's theater. It's religious theater. Every time I see it, it looks like he is on stage, and not it looks like he's doing performative theater. One time he was up there. Let me get the scripture so I could. Okay. He's always doing some type of performative act. I just can't preach right now. I'm not in the right headspace, bro. If you don't suck it up, bro. We all depressed. We all want to get out of this place. But that's the thing with individuals who are in that who are in that vibration of darkness. They want this place to stay forever, so that way they can keep having the freedom to do whatever they want. 23 and 23 Proverbs. 23, 20. I'm getting tired of that popping up. Oh my god, dang. 23 and 23. This is Proverbs chapter 23, verse 23. Buy the truth and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding, right? And that's why an individual is doing, all right? And that's why Apostle Har and the other apostles and GMS and the subsidiary camps underneath them, they have the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, all right, and they don't sell it. That's what I love about watching brothers' lessons, is there's no advertisements. That's the best thing about it. There's no advertisement. You can just watch videos all day. Brothers doing lives right now. Hey, I'm my brother doing live, but you can watch it all day. You can watch it all night. And you even though there's you might watch 2 different brothers doing the same lesson on the same topic, but it's gonna come out different. One of them might bring out a different scripture, different angle. The beauty of it all, is very, very nice. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. People and individuals in that dark Skeletor mindset are selling the truth. They're selling the truth. What's the name? I think it was ISUBK. It was either ISUBK or another one. They passed over at like a big stadium downtown, and they was charging like I think 200 for like a regular ticket. Just doing too, and it was for the Passover, so they were just doing too much, just doing too much. Just making filthy lucre off the Lord. But let me get back to my main point. So like I didn't want to get into a tangent about that. That just I saw it and it was just crazy. But going back to the power, uh, going back to the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua that already resides in us. Uh, keeping up, not keeping up, but studying herbs, studying plants, getting more so like as I've been experienced for I say like the past year, maybe year and a half. It's just a time of seclusion, a time of solitude to get close to the Yahweh Shem Yahushua because things are about to pop off, and Yahweh Shem Yahushua is really dealing with us right now. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is really dealing with us right now. So that time of solitude, make sure we're not wasting it. Our leisure time is make sure that we're not wasting our alone time with the Lord. Diving deeper into our crafts or our hobbies, something that takes our mind off of stuff that keeps our mind sound. The elder process camp, Harwan, he doesn't. I forget. It's either crocheting or knitting. The difference is one has like one thing and the other has two things, but and that it keeps your hand steady, it keeps your mind sound, it keeps your mind sharp. You know, doing small hobbies and stuff like that. Uh, it just keeps you sharp. A lot of people don't have a. I ask people like new people I talk to or you coworkers and stuff, primarily coworkers, because you kind of have to talk to them. Strangers I don't really try not to talk to. But I'm like, hey, where are you from? All that jazz, small talk. And I'm like, so in your spare time, what do you do? And they'll say something, generic, like, oh, I just sleep, oh, and just doom scroll on my phone, ha ha, blah, yeah, okay, ha ha, kiki. But I'd be like, no, like, what do you really do? And I kind of like say it like that without being this or saying it like that. And they're just like, well, I ain't really be getting nothing. And they'll say straight up, I just been kind of wasting my time. Da da da. And they'll really and then you'll really see them like go into themselves and kind of break down who they are. And then some people, some people they say they might research or something like that, but their research is vain. They're doing something, vain, pretty much. But I say all that to say, uh, the time, the leisurely time that people have, not the leisurely time that people have, the leisure time that we have with the Lord, make sure it's not being wasted. And I've been typing this verse forever the whole time I'm yapping. Slakia, Luke 17 and 20. 17 and 20. Okay, no. Let's go. This is all off the dome of Widow Willie. 17. This is Luke chapter 17, verse 20. It says, and when he was demanded of the Pharisees, and when the kingdom of Yahweh should come, he answered them and said, this is Yahweh speaking to the Sadducees and Pharisees. He said, it's like it, he answered them and said, the kingdom of Yahweh cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of Yahweh is within you. So all that head banging that them Khazars do over there to the temple, all that, that's not doing nothing. All right, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua doesn't reside in temples made with hands, dwellings made with hands. All right. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua enters us the same way. In He-Man, that power wasn't in the sword. Whoever has the sword has the power. The power resides within a living vessel, and that's what the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua does within us. We have the power. All right, we have the power right now. All right, and brother, 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 we was chilling at the park, chilling. Some squirrels scurrying about. Brother, hey, stop. That shit just stop. I was playing around talking, you saying you got spiritual power, but at the same time, small manifestations of Yahweh Shem Yahushua's power in us is, I'll say, small manifestations, and those manifestations are going to get larger and larger, and that standard is going to be raised ultimately here in this society. All right. Not with observation, kingdom of heaven is within you. Con. All right. Verse 21. Neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of Yahweh is within you. So it's already within us, man. Having this knowledge, having this wisdom, having this understanding. All right. Our minds are stable now. All right. We're not rattled with, of course, because we're humans, we battle with the flesh. We deal with insecurities. We deal with doubt and stuff like that. But we have to understand that all that is the flesh. All that is the flesh. We have to tune in and lock in. People talk about locking in. It's funny, these terms, these sayings that have been popping up, over the past years in social media, locking in. That's something we got to do with Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We really have to lock in. All right, not just tune in. Okay, when you tune in, that's like somebody walking past the camp, and they're hearing us the message. They're like, okay, I'm looking at the promotions. Okay, yeah, good guys, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, they tuned in, and then they tuned right out and just kept on walking. But we gotta tune in. We have to, find that signal of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and then lock on it. Just like, I'm not gonna go to it, but one of the mighty men of King David, he was defending this post, and he was slaying so many individuals that his hand like clinged onto the sword. He couldn't let go. So it was just locked onto the sword. So that's why we have to lock onto the Lord. We can't let go. All right. Let me get my next scripture. This I don't do lives a lot, because when you look for a scripture, there's a little bit of a dead space, but doing my best to what's the name? Try to fill the void, but I ain't gonna do it right now. Okay, 1 and 9. Okay, 1 and 9. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. This is Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. It says, "Have not I commanded thee?" And who was this actually? Matter of fact, just for the context, hold on a second. Just want to see who's speaking, who they're speaking to. Joshua. All right, so I'm about to turn my fan on real quick. It's hot. Hold on a second. Okay. Joshua, the Lord appointed So this is Joshua speaking. All right, Con. This is Joshua speaking. Oh, this is Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 8. It says, "The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth." Right, now that's important. "But thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein." Con. All right, that's something that the Christians don't talk about, or any other denomination that uses the Bible as their foundational standing in this society. That's something that they don't talk about. They don't use the whole Bible. That was something that Apostle Tahar was going into on one of his lessons, how they use the Bible, but it's like how they use the Bible, but they don't fully use the Bible. You know, they got the like off of Marvel, they got the Tesseract as a paperweight. You know, meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe. And it's cool, like the Akim and I, when we link up, we'll just link up like recreationally, play video games, chill, you know, and we'll like naturally start talking about the scriptures, cause like we'll see something on TV, like we'll be playing the video game, we'll like play Marvel versus Capcom or something like that. Somebody will shoot out an energy beam. You be like, "You think Yahushua gonna shoot energy beams like that?" We'll be like, "Oh yeah, they're not." And then we'll pull out scriptures, and that's part of the meditating day and night. It's always on the forefront of your mind. We can naturally go into it. A lot of other people, 2/3 of our people, Israel and these heathens, they can't really go into that stuff. And when they try to, they make it all mystical and metaphysical or something like that. Talking to the bishop one time, was going through something, and he was like, you got to realize, being in the truth, studying the scriptures and stuff like that, you're a lot more spiritually mature than people. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like we're operating on a completely different wavelength. So a lot of stuff that happens around us, we have to make sure that it doesn't affect our internal. Make sure that the external doesn't affect the internal. And it's like, if I'm rambling, my bad. Verse 8, "That thou mayest observe to do to Salakia." I'm gonna start back at the top. Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous." Right, and that's what we want to do, is make our way prosperous. And the way we make our way prosperous is to not only have faith in the Son and the Messiah, Yahushua Hamashiach, that's his true name in the Hebrew tongue, and that name was given to Mary via the angel. I think it was either Michael or Raphael. It was one of them, Salakia. And he got that name from the Lord as he sat on the throne. All right, from Yahweh himself. So that name went from Yahweh to the angel to Mary. So that name very much is important. Just like the old man said at the barbershop in Coming to America. "That's what mama named him. That's how I'm gonna call him." So then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. And that's what we want. We want success. We don't want success in this world. Ultimately, we want like a decent living. Ultimately, that's what I want. It's a scripture, I forget. It says, "Pray not for poverty nor for riches." And right in the middle of that, is acceptance. All right, not only acceptance, but what's the word? Not contempt. Not contempt. 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 I'm not contempted. Not complacent. Dang, what's the word? Right in the middle of that, content. Content with what we have, not contempt. Content with what we have. All right, as long as we're earning our daily bread, that's what matters. Verse 9, "Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage." Right. All right. "Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed." Right. And a lot of people fall into fear because you have to go out on the highways and byways to be a prophet of the Lord, to cast your line up among the sea of people, you know, to reel in fish, check them, make sure they're good, throw them back if they're not. You know, you have to go out on the highways and byways. You have to give your body as a living sacrifice. And people are going to look at you crazy. And like Scripture says, you have to be, slack it, hold on. I know the, slack it. Hey, hold on. I gotta plug my, computer up. Slack, hold on a second. We were the kings and queens of promise. Skibbity-boo. Skibbity-boo. Salaki. Alright, Salakia. I forgot what I was talking about before I stopped it. I'm gonna read the last scripture. It might jiggle my memories. Come on, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. Right. So going out on the highways and byways, it could seem scary at first in the beginning. I did it when I was when I was in like middle school. I had just got out of elementary school, going to middle school. So you know it's a little daunting, I say, but once you keep doing it, hey, that's all there is in life. For real. That's all there is in life, man. You learn to love it. But you have to, just like it says, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord, Yahweh, thy power is with thee, whithersoever thou goest, right? So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is with us, whithersoever we goest. All right, we have the power. All right, the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua resides within us. I've been looking at the top camera a little bit too long, so like I'm trying to switch. But the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua resides within us. You know, we have to make sure I think I said it in the lower description, use it or lose it. All right, I've seen individuals that had the Spirit of the Lord upon them, vehemently, mightily upon them, and the Lord can take it from you. You know, so and that's why the scripture I read earlier, you know, that fear of Yahweh, that fear of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua being our treasure, make sure that we continue to fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua because He could take it from us. You know, and that's a horrible thing to go out like that. You know, doing it for all these years, prophecies popping off, and then you tiptoe out this bit. You know, that's horrible. Well, no, that's horrible. You know, especially for right now because the prophecies are popping off so vigorously. You know, and we only got a few more to go before the Lord comes back. So, Kahalim La Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know. Let me get my next one. I say next one, but I haven't been on writing none of this down. But I just want to get to the movie really inspired me. You know, it's like the powers within you didn't need the sword. The powers within us. You know, we don't. Yahweh Shem Yahushua doesn't need us, but He chose us. All right. So with that choosing, you know, us, you know, lowly creatures, we have to make sure that we're grateful for that power that He's given us. All right, and use it. Okay, use the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua that we have within us. All right, the elder of this camp, he's been going into pretty much, you know, tapping into that old fire that we had when we were babes in the truth. You know, we first, you know, find out, wow, you know, so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans were Israelites. Wow, you know, America. Wow, you know, you just want to tell everybody, tell your family, tell your close friends. You might tell some coworkers. It's best to not tell coworkers. Just act like a normal human being. And after you telling the world, you know, who we are, who you are, who the Lord is, you'll see that distance, you know, that dark veil that's upon them, as you like, right, what you on, you know, or, you know, they'll mock and they'll scoff. I'll just put that simply, you know, they'll mock and they'll scoff, and then that's when that sweet's turn to bitter, you know, the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai, but we need to get back to that fire, you know, being on fire for the Lord, and you know, telling people, hey, you know, wake up, so-called Negro Latinos and the Americans, you know, they're the Israelites. We have to, you know, start lifting that banner, you know. Wow, what the heck? Oh, it's like it. What shall we say? Matter of fact, I'll get that. Romans 8:31. I'm just 8 and oh shoot, just following right now. 8:31. 8:31. 8:31. 8:31. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 31. It says, "What shall we then say to these things?" I was thinking about starting at 30. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go right to the point. And what shall we say to these things? If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? Right? Who can be against the Lord? People think they got free will. That's what's funny, bro. People think they got free will. People think that they can do whatever they want. I was talking to an individual about that, and they were like, you know, Yahweh does have control over large scale stuff, but you know, teeny tiny stuff, you know, like the decision that we're going to make, you know, whether we're going to choose coffee or something else at the store, you know, the Lord doesn't have that type of power. And Kahalim La Yahweh Shem Shai, I was like, so you know, the Lord don't have the teeny tiny power to know about our hair, because I was aware that that individual knew that scripture. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring it out, because you know, shit crazy. No thanks. Okay. 10:30, 10:30, 10:30, not 10:30, not 10:30, 10:30, not 10:30, 10:30, not 10:30, 10:30, not 10:30. Matthew chapter 10, verse 30. It says, oh, it's like, let me get a different one. Well, come on, I'll get that one. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 30. It says, but the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So, as I said, you know, I said her words and mixed it with scripture, because she said, you know, the Lord doesn't control the teeny tiny things. And I was like, the tiny thing, like the hairs on her head. And she was like, yeah, well, and I'm like, you know, like, come on, like, even down to the molecular structure of us, you know, if an atom is out of place, you know, if a proton or electron or a nucleus is out of place within the human body, it causes so much disruption. And the Lord is controlling all that. You know, they've been looking into into atoms and stuff like that, tracking the movement of it, and they see the different shapes and stuff like that. And that's all of the power and control of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, it's science, falsely so called, but that's all the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Like the scripture says, having this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is it's like, oh, matter of fact, let me go to it. I ain't even want to botch it. Marrow to our bones is what I wanted, but I wanted the way the scripture said it. Marrow to the bones. Feel it to me, about 3 and 8 Proverbs, 3 and 8 Proverbs, 3 and 8, 3 and 8, 3 and 8, 3 and 8 Proverbs chapter 3. Verse 8. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 8. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna start at verse 1. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. Right, very important. All right, the faith and the law are two sides of the same coin. All right, the same way Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same animal. You know, no matter which side you're on, you know, you're still bowing down to that animal, you know, whether it be faith or your work. You not whether it be faith, but faith or works. But you can't have one without both. Faith and works. If you have faith in the Lord, your works are going to show it. If you're working for the Lord, you should have faith in Him. You know. Verse 2: For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. Keep it on the forefront of your mind. Always remember, always meditate. Like you said, meditate upon it day and night. Verse 4: So shalt thou find favor, and that's what we want. Hold on, it's like that's what we want. Hopefully, God damn. Hopefully, my audio been decent. Hello, 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 hello. Damn, is my audio? Damn. All right, hello. Hold on, let me check. Hello. Hello. Okay, okay. So my sound's still good. Okay, okay. So my sound's still good. Okay, but I was just making sure. All right, so let me go back. Slocky. I was making sure my sound was still good. I didn't see the little dots moving at the bottom. So Slocky. Shalom to the one viewer. What's up? How you doing? This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 3. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. Keep it in the forefront of your mind. So shall thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of Yahweh and man. So you'll find favor and good understanding in the sight of the Lord and in the sight of individuals in this realm. You know, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and the word that word heart is a metaphor. It's like it, not a metaphor. What was I say? Metaphor for the mind. All right, the same way if you're going through a breakup, weighs heavy. You know people say it weighs heavy upon your heart, but you're constantly thinking about that breakup. So heart means your mind. All right, going to the Hebrew word la'ab, which is mind. Trust the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. And lean not unto thy own understanding. So just because I use this as an example, I did a lesson on it. I ate a goddamn catfish sandwich, leaning on my own understanding. Fucking stupid. Every time at my job when they would fry fish, they have they'll have them in two separate baskets: the cod, which is lawful, and the catfish, which is unlawful. And they will always have have them right next to each other, and I will always ask which one's which, just to make sure. And one time I didn't ask. I was like, it's always what's the name on it, what's the name, and I just ate, and I was like, this shit kind of grainy. And I something happened. I was next to somebody, and the lady, she just randomly blurted out, "That's catfish you eat." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I looked at it, and then we looked, and she was like, "Oh yeah." So me being hungry, all right, me not thinking about the Lord first, me not saying, me leaning into my own understanding and not saying, let me make sure, let me find out, that this is cod, or this is not. Let me get the scripture. Not scripture. It's like, let me get the Bible off the table, making the camera move. But let me make sure that this is lawful for me to eat. So in that moment, after I spat it out, and I threw it away, and I was like, damn. So in that moment, and I was at work, so I went to the bathroom real quick and prayed, and I was like, man, really leaned on to the scripture hit different now, lean on to thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And that's what we want. We want Yahweh Shem Yahushua to direct our paths. We want him to be like, go that way. And we just like, yes, yes, sir. Go that way. Yes, sir. That's what we want. We don't want to lean into our own understandings. We want to be like, well, this path seemed good because of da 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 da. You know, you don't want to lean onto your own understanding. All right, you'll be out here looking like, be out there be looking like Jay Farrow with some goddamn grabbers on. I ain't never seen a nigga use his hands so much. That one was a camera like. Oh man. Oh man. He shall direct thy paths. Verse 7. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord Yahweh and depart from evil. Right, man. Hey, that's what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. We got prophecies popping off. This great wicked nation falling. What a time to be alive, man. All right. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh, and depart from evil. Here's the main point. This is verse 8. It shall be health to thy navel. All right. The same way a baby gets all their nutrients from the navel. All right. But ultimately saying, you know, our center, our core, you know, that's where strength. Salakia. Salakia. In terms of I'll say like biomechanics, dealing with the body, athletics and stuff like that, strength and power, it all comes from the core, you know. So channeling, I don't know if you can see, you know, this right here, you know, breathing techniques, you know, all that, it helps to strengthen the core, and having a strong core helps you to have a strong everything else. If you have strong legs and super strong legs, super strong arms and everything else, but you got a weak core, you pretty much got, you know, you don't really have as much strength as you think you do. You know, you can curl 1,000-pound bicep, but you can't 1,000-pound bicep. You can curl 1,000-pound, you know, dumbbell, but you can't do a sit up because your abdominal muscles, because your core is so weak. You know, so when you're trying to move something, you can't really move it. Even though you have all the strength in your arm, you don't have it in your core, you know, in your being. You know, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. And marrow, bone marrow, marrow is inside of bones, and that's where blood comes from. All right, so that's that scripture hit every time. Marrow to thy bones, health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Con. I got on this scripture because we was talking about something else. Like it, lost my train of thought. But marrow to thy bones, man. That's what. Matter of fact, going down to the controlling of the small parts of the small universe that Yahweh Shem Yahushua controls. All right, within the vastness of the cosmos that we see, the Shemayim that we see, you know, the celestial bodies and everything like that, even down to the numbers of our head, the numbers of our head, the number of the hairs upon our head being numbered, even the marrow within our bones. All right, he has control over that. All right, control, and he can also empower it. You know, which is ultimately what he's done, what he's done, and what he will continue to do as long as we, you know, stay on the path. So it's 11:04. I'm gonna go ahead, head to bed, man. Gotta go to work and shit like that. I don't want to make this too long. How long has this been? I can't see how long the time is. I guess not. The camera says 49 minutes. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. All right. The water, Shalom. I pray and hope that this lesson was edifying. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out by saying, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Ha, Rechak, Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, rule well and teach well. A double honor to my elder apostle down here as well in the Lions Den camp, Aharon by Yashrala, and the bishop, Hanaksan by Yashrala. So like if I give a double honors in the intro. And sincere thought to the Akim, the Aquatham, and the Bunyan will push the truth and believe with sincerity. The water and Shalom. Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna stop this one first.